Hello and welcome to the second episode of the SBK Daily Cheltenham Festival Preview podcast. My name is Tom Collins and I'm again joined by SBK betting podcast regular Ross Millar. Ross was 7 races down. Yesterday went by in a flash. It was a stressful day in SBK Towers, but I really enjoyed the racing. Did you enjoy the first day at Cheltenham and how did you get on more crucially?
Yeah, really enjoyed it. It was great to hear that Cheltenham roar before the Supreme, wasn't it? And it did look like a raucous crowd that were glad to be back. Really enjoyed the racing. Statler at the end was a nice result. A couple of anti-post each way through the day have sort of kept me in there swinging, but we've hit the crossbar a few too many times. But 3 days left yet, TC, so it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, exactly. It was a similar case for me. A few big priced each way places. HMS Seahorse in the Boodles ran a great race. Al Power in the Ultima ran a great race as well. And I thought Mrs. Milner specifically in the Mayor's Hurdle was extremely unlucky. She was hampered at the final hurdle as before they turned in. She finished her race off really well in the Mayor's Hurdle. Statler was the star of the show for both of us. A winning nap together, gets the hoodoo off our back. I thought he was fantastic in the National Hunt Chase. He could dominate that division for years to come. Talking of horses that are dominating the division, Honeysuckle, she's the main horse that we need to talk about here. A second consecutive champion hurdle for Rachel Blackmore and Henry de Bromhead. I thought she was excellent. Appreciated maybe didn't run his race off a long layoff, but she took up the run in turning for home and never looked back. What did you think, Ross?
Yeah, I thought she was absolutely superb. I don't think she had it all her own way. She was sort of trapped quite wide down the back by Jack Kennedy on Zanna here. So Rachel had to sort of take her back a little bit at the top of the hill and come in. But yeah, she was by some way the best. And I think the form looks rock solid because Epitant has certainly come forward from last year. So she is undoubtedly the queen of the division and 15 from 15 at whatever level you're competing at is a phenomenal effort.
Yeah, 100%. We should talk about her in the same breath as the likes of Frankel. As you say, it's phenomenal to win that many consecutive races. She's unbeaten in her career. It'll be interesting to see how long that winning streak can go on for. Maybe it goes 17, 18, 19 wins. And then she will be talked about as the great in the jumps racing sphere. She won yesterday. Another horse that won yesterday was Constitution Hill in the Supreme. He actually recorded a time 6 seconds quicker than Honeysuckle in the Champion Hurdle. It was a phenomenal effort. Yes, they went a great pace early in the Supreme, and that clearly suited him and led to the time being really fast. Now, these two horses, Honeysuckle and Constitution Hill, could take each other on at Punchestown. It would be one of the best races of the season, undoubtedly, and this is next month, of course. If they were to take each other on, who do you think would win, Ross?
Well, firstly, I think we have to applaud Michael Buckley for being adventurous in how he wants this horse to be campaigned. He's done it with Toast in New York a couple of times, so this is exciting. As you know, I'm drawn to visually impressive performances, and Constitution Hill was undeniably visually impressive. But I think, as well as perhaps showing it was difficult to do off a long layoff, appreciate it as perhaps shown that this sort of battle-hardened experience that comes with these campaigners is not to be underestimated. So you'd be a brave man to take Honeysuckle on, but you'd be an excited man to see Constitution Hill versus Honeysuckle for sure.
Yeah, I agree again. I would be on the fence at this stage. Like, it's a bit too early, I think, to make a decision. Constitution Hill is extremely unexposed. Honeysuckle's the proven commodity. It would be the race of the month, undoubtedly, even though the flat season has started, and I'm a flat man, as we all know. I think I'll be looking forward to this race more than anything else. Now, those two horses are trained by Nicky Henderson and Henry de Bromhead. They had a bit of a barren streak going into Cheltenham Festival, but they got their name on the board, which was crucial on the first day. One trainer that didn't get a winner on the first day was Gordon Elliott, but we've seen that before. I think it was back in 2018. No winners on the first day, 4 winners on the second day. Do you think he'll get his name on the board today, Ross?
Yeah, I think he'll certainly be feeling a bit of pressure, won't he? He was sort of obviously missed last year for his indiscretion. He's back. He was quite public in that he had I think it was a savage team he said he was sending over, and they haven't looked all that savage yet. But you know, he's got a huge team. He's clearly knows what he's doing. I thought today Grand Roi and Miles Harper were interesting in the Coral, and handicaps are certainly something he's done very well at over the years. So with plenty of handicap races left yet and 3 days, you'd be a brave man to say he'd go home completely empty-handed. And while we're just on the winners, it was great to see the winning being shared amongst a few people. Tom Cannon getting his first win, Padraig Roach, Alan King not having a winner for all those seasons, Lucinda Russell, and on Lucinda Russell, Derek Fox. What a brilliant ride. You know, we've been in the build up to Cheltenham, seen the Paul Carberry Balvano ride on my Twitter, repeat. This has got to be up there. It was a superb ride, and I hope it does at the end of the week not get lost amongst the sort of perhaps bigger, more fashionable winners.
Yeah, it was inspired. I completely agree. Again, I wasn't even looking at Corrick Rambler going down the back straight or even turning for home. He's a nutcase. I mean, he's one of the hardest horses to ride in the jumps racing sphere. Yet Derek Fox managed to get a great tune out of him and just he powered up the hill, didn't he? It was an incredible turn of foot. Yes, that was clearly one of the standouts. Not from a personal point of view because I really don't like the horse too much, but he was phenomenal. Clearly got a lot of talent and great to see Lucinda Russell get a big winner on the board. Talking about today's racing, the feature race is the Champion Chase. Now, we were expecting up to 3 millimeters of rain overnight. That hasn't come to fruition. Apparently, there was a dry night at Cheltenham, good to soft ground in places currently. That won't affect Shishkin's chance in the Champion Chase. He's a 4-5 favourite with SBK. He takes on the likes of Energumene and Chacun Pour Soi again. Do you think Shishkin will win?
Yeah, I think he will. I think they've put 5 mil down overnight themselves, haven't they? So certainly the ground's not going to be affected for him. Yeah, again, he sort of falls into the honeysuckle bracket. Would love to see him win. Wouldn't lay him, wouldn't back him at the price, just for that being my sort of MO. I think it's very hard for Energumene to turn it around on slightly quicker ground. Chacun Pour Soi is the unknown question, but I just think he's going to look at that hill and say no, thank you very much again. So yeah, I think Shishkin for the UK looks a great shout.
Yeah, I think Shishkin's actually value personally. 4-5 seems a reasonable price for an odds-on shot. Obviously, he's still short in the market, and plenty of punters don't want to get involved at that kind of price. But I think he deserves to be around 4-7. I know there was a huge, thrilling finish in the SBK Clarence House Chase between himself and Energumene, but everything went the way of Energumene that day. I think Cheltenham will suit Shishkin more. I'll be very surprised to see that he's beaten in this event today. I think he'll get another win on the board for favourite backers in the featured races. Now, we don't tip odds on shots as our naps, Ross, on this podcast. We need a little bit more of originality. My nap today is going to be Drop the Anchor in the Coral Cup. Maybe that's too much originality. And this is the 250, one of the hardest races to get the winner of all week. He's only 4 from 21 in his career, far from prolific. But Pat Fahey targets him with these big handicap hurdles. He won a rich prize at Listowel, a rich prize at Leopardstown, and he seems to be primed for this event. He's had 3 runs since last May. He ran on the flat, clearly a pipe opener. Then he didn't really seem to run very well at all at Ascot. I don't think he was anywhere near fit. Last time out, he finished 5th in a good Leopardstown handicap hurdle. The 9th that day, Surprise Package won the Imperial Cup last Saturday. The form stacks up and a mark of 145 looks very fair to me. He's my nap of the day, Drop the Anchor. My next best is going to be Journey with Me in the Ballymore at 130. Is this a heart overhead decision? Probably. Sir Gerhard really scares me. He's a very talented performer, won the champion bumper last year. But I'm on Journey with Me at tasty prices, back to this time last season to win this race this year, the Ballymore. He's around 7-1 currently. I think that's a fair price. He's the value play in the race for me. Who are your nap and next best, Ross?
So my nap is L'Homme Pressé in the Brown Advisory. Brave Man's Game is a superb jumper, a horse I've got an awful lot of time for. But I just been watching that race back and I'm just not convinced I can see him flying up the hill after 3 miles. L'Homme Pressé is probably not as impressive as jumper as him, but is a very solid jumper. Has already been around the course, jumped nicely when winning the Dipper. I think step up to 3 miles could arguably see him in better light. So I'd take him to win that. And then my next best, it was a 101 shot, TC. Don Levant in the Coral Cup. My old boy, my old favourite. He's done me really well this year. And it probably is a little bit of heart overhead, but I think he's got a great chance. He's going to love this ground. Quicker the ground, better he is. Isabel Williams is going to have to weave through the field, but she's getting better with experience. His mark is still, I think, workable, and I'd take him to run a big race in the Coral Cup at a big price.
Yeah, we're going to need to get a tally up here on the podcast with the count of times that you mentioned Don Levant. I mean, it's got to be over 100. And if he wins the Coral Cup, then I'll let you talk about him for the whole podcast tomorrow. The whole 10 minutes, you can just mention how great Isabel Williams and Don Levant is. I'm sure you would anyway. Look, the racing is going to be great. Hopefully we get a few winners on the board. We clash in the Coral Cup, but one of us will hopefully come out on top. Before we go for today's racing, we have an SBK offer that I should mention for new customers. Deposit £10 at Cheltenham Festival, get £50 in free bets. New customers, as I say, 18s plus only, and terms and conditions apply. Ross and I will be back again tomorrow reviewing today's racing and looking ahead to day 3. We've got some brilliant races to come. We'll be at the halfway stage of the Cheltenham Festival. Be lucky today. Make sure you get the winners.